No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
Good afternoon, fellas. We are in the thick of it. We got less than 30 days until we are actually talking about real football, which is it's a great thing for us content creators. But I did want to ask you guys, are you a little bit down that summer is now coming to an end?
No, fall is my favorite time of year.
Why is that, Dave? Is that a Viking thing? Is that a Norse mythology type stuff, or what is that all about?
Oh, the weather starts to change. The sky gets bluer. There's a crisp wind that blows from the north. Heck yes. Fall is absolutely my favorite time of year. The leaves get a pretty color, and you hear the popping of pads as football cranks up.
Only thing I liked about that is the popping of pads. Other than, I don't know, it might be a controversial opinion on my end, but I am not with the fall is the best time of year wave. I am resolute in my springtime or summertime. You know, summertime shies. I'm good. Foster, break this tie for us. Best time of the year.
Best time of the year is definitely the summertime. I'm an avid baseball fan, so it's active around that time. Although fall does signify the playoffs in baseball, but this time of year is always interesting for me because the weather does start to change. My birthday is always around the beginning of the NFL season, is September 11th actually. So I usually have that going on, but summer, I got summer all day.
Why did I ask you? Because it seemed like you had to make it about yourself. I don't know why I did that.
What else would it be about, right?
All right, man. Okay. All right. So since Dave brought it up, football is back. We are going into week 2 of the preseason sked. So I do want to cede the floor to you, Foster, because it's your time of the day. The Detroit Lions are 2 games in, if you count the drumming you all took last week in the Hall of Fame game, as you put it. You know, it's not me being disrespectful. You put it that way. What happened in the second week that you all had actual football up there in Detroit?
Yeah, so I'll start from the end and work my way to the beginning. But the ending of the game was a display of class on behalf of Raheem Morris and the rest of the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff. The Lions had a very scary injury to our reserve cornerback / safety, Morris Norris, where he actually was unresponsive and not moving for a period of time after attempting a tackle. And the game was suspended with about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They kind of stood in solidarity and made that agreement. But the positive thing is that he is all right. He's been talking to teammates. He's in concussion protocol for the next 10 to 14 days. And Dan Campbell said that he's feeling positive about the situation. So he could possibly come back, which is, at the time, you're just like hoping that everything is just okay, health-wise. So that is how the game ended. But as far as what happened in the game, well, we ultimately ended up winning the game 14-10, obviously not completing the game. And Hendon Hooker, the guy that we wanted to solidify and take over that backup position, had another stinker. I think Dan Campbell ended up just pulling him from the game a little prematurely because he kept putting the ball on the ground. He lost 2 fumbles. We actually lost 2 fumbles. We had 4 fumbles altogether. I think he only accounted for 2 of them, but overall, still some ball security issues. We didn't have any interceptions though, and Kyle Allen had a resoundingly stronger game. He's taken that number 2 position. He's taking all the reps with the second team, He went 7 of 8 for 120 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. He had a long bomb to Jackson Meeks, and then he was able to close that drive with a goal line touchdown from Jackson Meeks. And that is the nephew of Zadarius Smith. He made that known a while ago, and he shouted him out after the game. To talk about how proud he was. So, more indications that there's some connection there, and some more for the media to kind of, talk about, as far as whether or not Zadarius is going to come home. But outside of that, Nate Lynn, a edge rusher, who's been making some noise all camp, had another good game. He had the highest PFF rating of any player on the team with 87. He had a sack and a tackle for a loss. Actually, a lot of good efforts from some of our reserve edge guys. My evaluation is that the team is going to be pretty deep at that position. It's just a matter of somebody stepping forward as a every down, standout that we can depend on outside of Hutch. We already know what Hutch is going to do. He's having an amazing camp. They had to incorporate a Hutch rule, which is basically where obviously they're not bringing the quarterback to the ground when the rushers get to the quarterback. And so instead of blowing the whistle dead, they're allowing the play to go through because they would just not get any plays off because Hutch is getting through every single time. But outside of that in the game, Bates, our kicker, had a 57-yard kick. So he continues to play well. Al-Qadim Muhammad had a strong game. He's another one of our edge rushers. I think he had 2 tackles, a sack, tackle for a loss, and a QB hit. And we got to see Tate Rutledge and Tyleek Williams, our first 2 draft picks who didn't play in the first game, but they got some looks in the game against the Falcons. So very encouraged from what I saw. A better effort, fundamentals were better, the defense was tackling better. Ball security is still the main thing that we've been having issues with. Obviously, these aren't the offensive players that we're going to be seeing when it matters the most, but nonetheless, we would like to see some takeaways because we haven't seen a single fumble recovery, a single interception as of yet, and we want to cut down on the fumbles and interceptions on our side of the ball.
And this week, you have a joint practice with the Miami Dolphins, who were up in Chicago the last week. How is that looking right there? Do you all have any? Better question. How is when is the joint practice for first and foremost?
So it was today. I'm actually extremely fired up about that. There was a resounding outcome as far as from media that were present that the Lions dominated on every aspect of it. These were practices that were more hyper focused on the first team and the second team. So you're competing against the best of each other's best. I mean, your Tyreek Williams, your Tuas, your Mostert, the top players on their end, and the Lions absolutely dominated. We actually have Ife Melifonwu, former Detroit Lion, actually got into it with Jamison Williams. They had a few exchanged a few blows, and they had their little exchange. Well, not much of an exchange on social media. J-Mo kind of played it off with the it is what it is. No biggie. Obviously, they are very familiar with each other. And Iffy just kind of shrugged it off as it's bad. It's football, which it is. It's football. Your physical sport. You've been itching to hit somebody else, and this is an opportunity to do so. And why not your former teammate who you've been battling with for the last? I think they were drafted in the same year, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, utter domination. Amon-Ra St. Brown was picking the secondary apart, and it'll be interesting to see what the with the effect of the actual real live game this weekend, because I'm sure Miami's going to want some get back after the getting their ass handed to them in practice.
They won't, because they're not going to be a good team. Last question about that though. How was the quarterback looking? I'm gonna ask about both. First, have you heard anything about Jared Goff from this particular practice? How did he look against that Miami first unit defense?
He looked good. It's pretty obvious who he's instilling a lot of his trust in. I didn't even talk about Isaac Tesla. He actually scored his first touchdown. He had a nice catch on like a fade route, jump ball type situation. He made an amazing. This was just in practice before the game, but a fingertip catch before the game that as far as his hands, his body control in the air, his speed. I mean, he's kind of the total package, and he's just beginning to play against legitimate talent. I mean, he played against Arkansas. I mean, he played at Arkansas his final year, but I mean, this guy is from Hillsdale University. Like he's just scratching the surface as far as how good he can be, and he's outplayed Tim Patrick and Khalif Raymond, the other guys that are kind of competing for that third and fourth role. So I say that to say this: he's been one of the guys that Jared Goff has instilled a lot of his trust in, receiver-wise. Him, Sam Laporta, and Amon-Ra St. Brown are the most were the most highly trusted as far as the joint practice.
What about the other quarterback, Miami's quarterback, Mr.
Tua Tagovailoa?
You know what? I didn't get too much of the Miami perspective of things, so I can't even say. But that clip was great.
Yeah, I just had to find a way to get that up in there. you just like those pop-up ads when you go to the hub. The jerk baits and all. I gotta find a way to get that up in there. Dave, your team also broke the seal in preseason. And tell us about it. How was the preseason opener for those Minnesota Vikings? As you've let us know, I'm gonna just already take this from you, Dave. You're the only undefeated team in the division as of right now. I got. But the floor is yours. What happened with Minnesota?
Yes, if you look at the preseason standings, they had the Minnesota Vikings number 1, the Detroit Lions number 2. They have your Chicago Bears number 3, and the Green Bay Packers in last place where they belong. Let it be so throughout the season. But no, for my game, it was a good way to kick off the preseason. J.J. McCarthy had the first drive. We won the toss and elected to receive, which is weird. Normally defer, but he took the first drive and was methodical down the field. Nothing spectacular. He had one big overthrow, but and on that overthrow, he threw it a little bit too fast and a little bit too much heat. And he said afterwards, that's because I've been practicing against the Brian Flores defense and it speeds me up so much. I wasn't used to slowing down. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does later against different teams. But he had 13 plays, 14th, we kicked a field goal, went up 3-0 and never looked back. We ended up winning 20-10 over the Texans. The biggest story of the game, though, was not J.J. McCarthy. The biggest story came from our backup QB battle. First off, we had traded for Sam Howell during the draft, and he had been looking lousy in camp, absolutely horrid, because he's going against the ones on the defense. Well, he gets out there and he looks sharp. And he went 11 for 13, 105 yards, directing efficient drives. Everything looked great. But the story was our undrafted free agent QB, Max Brosmer, out of Minnesota, formerly of New Hampshire. And he's going to win himself a spot on an NFL roster, most likely ours, but he's going to win himself a spot. His decision-making, how he commanded the huddle, how he did everything, how he went through his reads, he looked like a pro football player, should. Pro football quarterback, should. And it was very, very nice to see. That means Brett Rippon is probably out, but we'll see. There's still 2 more games. We'll find out. Now, we also had our running back competition change hands. We had running back Xavier Scott, who was a former wide receiver converted to running back. He stood out. He was making all sorts of plays, could see the hole, could juke, could do everything you asked for him. So he's most likely going to beat out Ty Chandler for the 3rd running back spot, which is fine, but it goes to another loss in the 2022 draft class. But hey, we want to win games, not just preserve draft classes. And then on the defensive side, we had standouts. The majority of first string defense didn't play. So we had backups. And backup, undrafted free agent from last year, Gabriel Murphy, was a beast. He had 2 sacks and 5 QB hits. He was everywhere. Absolutely great. He wasn't the only one. And then we had cornerback Khalif Halassi. He had an interception to seal the win. It was a wonderful, wonderful game. It was a good start to the season. But as we all know, the record doesn't mean squat. You can start out 4-0 in the preseason and go 0-16. Right, Foster?
Oof.
And but it was a good start. I liked it.
I heard you say that their first string defense most of this first string defense, they didn't play. Is there any plan for that to change in the next 2 weeks?
Nope. They're getting it with joint practices today and tomorrow.
All right. Speaking of the joint practices, who are you guys playing? Or who are you practicing up against?
The New England Patriots came to town, and the first practice was today. And J.J. McCarthy had ups and downs, but was consistent. He did throw a pick. Our defense, on the other hand, we had some secondary issues. Mr. Jeff Okuda got absolutely fried by Stephon Diggs today. Stephon decoyed him out of his socks. It was unbelievable. But Mr. May was consistent with his passes. He's going to be a very good quarterback. J.J. McCarthy was relatively consistent with his passes, going to be a very good quarterback. He's got chemistry with Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson that gets better and better and better. Jalen Naylor, our wide receiver 3, continues with the dropsies. But it was a good first day of practice. Now, what we were hoping for was to see Justin Jefferson. Coach Kevin O'Connell said, no, we're going to hold him out another week and reevaluate. I've seen film of him jumping around and doing things, and his hamstring just looks fine. But he's not going to play till week 1, so, hey, it doesn't matter. But we'll see the starters today and tomorrow for the most part. A little bit of the mixing into the second and third stringers. But it's going to be for the game this coming weekend. It's going to be all second, third, and fourth stringers.
That was going to be my question there, Dave. What level of concern did you have for Justin Jefferson's hamstring? But you already said you don't have any. Did they ever ever specify what grade strain it was?
It was a light, is what they said. A light strain.
Don't you love these NFL coaches in their
Yes, and
their opaqueness?
Well, it's just like in the preseason game last week, Rondale Moore, wide receiver we picked up from the Cardinals, who had been recovering from his knee injury. Oh, it took over a year, fields a punt, and then destroys his, I shouldn't say destroy, I don't know. He injures his other knee, and it was significant, and he was put on season-ending IR yesterday. Now, Kevin O'Connell was asked about it. Well, was it ACL, MCL? What was it? And Kevin O'Connell says, I'm not going to be specific. It was just a devastating injury. And they don't have to. By the rules, they don't have to until week 1.
Yeah.
When we head to Chicago.
Of all the rules the NFL has, I think that's the one rule they can get rid of. I don't think anybody, except anyone outside the game, will ever have a disagreement about that. I think we all, in this time, in this era we're living in, or where we're all disagreeing about something, I think we all can get unified behind getting NFL coaches to cut the crap and tell us the truth once and for all. I think we all can get behind that.
No, they like to keep it secret for a tactical advantage.
Yeah. They can kiss my grits with that one. So even though it would probably cause me concern if Jeff Acuna was on my team and he was getting shaken out of his boots, out of his socks, as you said, Dave, by a player that I thought was about to lead a league. I would probably have concerns about that because I didn't think Stephon Diggs was going to be interested in football anymore. But maybe rumor is that Cardi's pregnant, so maybe he does need to still continue working. But my last question concerning this past week for the Vikings, if there's no plan for the first string defense to really get any preseason reps, does that plan also go to the other side of the ball, the offense, in particular, rookie quarterback JJ McCarthy?
JJ McCarthy. Yes. The only reps he had was last week. That's it.
That's it. So he's one and done.
He's one and done.
All right.
You won't see him till Monday night.
All right. How do you feel about that? Tactical advantage, or he's got enough reps? He's got enough callus.
No, I wish he could have more reps. And even Coach O'Connell said he wish he could. But Coach O'Connell says he's not going to, if he's going to have reps, he's going to have it with the first team offense, especially the offensive line, and he's not going to put the O-line through that. So he's not going to have more reps. I understand. They don't want to get anybody hurt. They're going to do it in this week's joint practice with the Patriots, and that's it. They'll do it on the practice field after that.
I think this is a good topic for us all. How do you all feel about that? I know joint practices are more controlled than games, but do you all feel they're an adequate stand-in for actual game reps? Basically, what I'm asking is, are you cool with your players not playing in the preseason versus just getting more practice time?
I'm cool with it. If it's done right, and that's the whole big deal. Is it done right? Kevin O'Connell has a whole philosophy on it, and I tend to agree with him. The whole idea about joint practices is you can control somewhat of what happens. You can set rules, you can set boundaries. Like you can't bring the quarterback to the ground. It's two-hand touch. They're too valuable. Sorry, too bad. But the O-line and everybody else can be 100% and go at full speed. But stop at the whistle. No extracurricular stuff. We're going to put you in situations that we want you in. that, hey, we're doing a 2-minute drill. You've got the ball on the 40. What do you do? That sort of thing. And the coaches, whether it be Vrabel this week or in previous years or with you guys, can set up, hey, I need to work on this with the defense or the offense. Can you do this on the opposing offense or defense? And they can set that up. And then everybody go at 100%. I think it is a better way and a safer way to build up the calluses. And yes, calluses do need to be built up, but it also depends on the age of the team. If the team is super duper young, i.e. like Green Bay, they need those reps. But if the team is older, like Minnesota, do they need all those reps? Does Harrison Hitman Smith or Justin Jefferson need those reps? No. They're going to step in from the get-go. They know what they're doing. Now, would I like Donovan Jackson, our new left guard, to get more reps? Oh, heck yes, I would. Would I like J.J. McCarthy to get more reps? Yes, I would. But they can do that in a controlled environment of joint practices better than on a preseason field where somebody's trying to make a name for themselves and might hurt them.
I'm kind of on the opposite side of that there, Dave. I know that we're speaking for our prospective teams. We're probably in different situations going into this season, right? But I think that you definitely need to be out there, not all the time, and you don't need to do it every game. But I think reps in practice and live reps in games are two totally different things, and they're sitting in the back of your mind as two totally different things. You attack them different. Just using the Bears as an example, Caleb Williams. There's been a lot of chit chat and chatter about the offenses. I'm gonna use the word inability to get get their cadence correct and line up correct and get plays in at the speed that the coaches would desire. I think that it is imperative that you don't wait until week one to even put that team and those issues out there in a live situation, because you want to see how your quarterback responds to certain looks and gets the correct checks in, versus knowing that, okay, I didn't get the correct check, no one's going to touch me because I got a red jersey. But it's a different ball game when somebody's coming around that end and ready to tag you, as you said, make a name for themselves. Foster, I think me and you are coming into this season with new offensive coordinators for our quarterback. So I don't know, do you agree with having your quarterback out there and getting the actual reps in, so he's not so he's prepared for week one with the new offense and new offense cadence and calls?
So I I think I don't want to start this. I think with the Lions' luck and their shaky backup quarterback situation, I don't think we can afford to have some type of disastrous situation by throwing Goff out there. I do think that I echo the sentiments that the teams that are a little bit older with more continuity, I don't think there's any concerns about whether or not Goff and Ron St. Brown are on the same page, or whether or not J-Mo and Goff are on the same page. So I think it's less essential when you do have that continuity. I do understand the new offensive coordinator and having to work those kinks out. And I think that even early on last year, when we played the Rams and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we did see some.
Yeah, we lost him.
We lost Foster. But yeah,
I would, with Jared Goff, I would not risk it, especially with their injury luck. And we haven't gone over the list of injuries, and theirs is horrible.
Yeah, we don't have enough time for all that, Dave. It is a long list of injuries. Detroit is bitten by the injury bug again, as we talked about ad nauseum last season. So he did give me the proper segue. You don't want to risk it for this team because we're already dealing with a tenuous health crisis. Speaking of broken players, Green Bay. Green Bay's professional quarterback, Mr. Jordan Love, his preseason and offseason has come to an abrupt end there, Dave. I don't know if you heard about that.
I did.
He has I don't want to misquote it. I believe he dislocated his thumb.
Left thumb.
Yeah. Is he a lefty? Do you know?
No, he's a right-handed thrower.
Darn it. Darn it to hell.
I know. That's the first thing I looked at and checked. But he does have to handle the snap.
He does.
And that's where the left hand comes into play.
I'm not sure how their offense, how much of their offense is under center and in shotgun. I think that would matter. I think it's a lot easier to handle the snap when you're in shotgun, especially when you have only 9 fingers to deal with.
But you need the thumb to close on it.
Correct. Welcome back there, Foster. So with Green Bay, Dave, they've had an interesting week as well.
And from what I gather, it's ligament damage. He's having surgery, and he'll be ready for week 1. Is the word.
Yeah. So just like last year, we talked about Detroit having injury issues. Once carrying that from last year into this year, Green Bay starting off this year the same way they started off last year with a broken quarterback. What else is happening up there in Green Bay? What else have you heard there, Dave?
Oh, I'm hearing it is a strange vibe, and everything is looking like they're setting up for an implosion.
Now, hold your horses. I want to make sure I heard that correctly. Maybe let me breathe that in. Setting up for an implosion. Okay, continue.
Yes, they have a slew of injuries themselves. Jaden Reed with a foot injury. He'll be questionable for week 1 against the Detroit Lions. Xavier McKinney, calf injury, questionable for week 1. Datavian Wicks, calf injury. Christian Watson, still on the pup. Romeo Dobbs, back injury. John Williams, guard, back injury. Aaron Mosby, defensive end. He's got a groin issue. And all those wide receivers, and with drafting Golden, nobody's healthy except for Golden. And unless it's going to run through him, they've got to run through the tight ends, their offense. And there's no sure thing that Golden's going to be a wide receiver 1. It was questionable when they drafted him. So, but just the way things are happening, the vibes I'm hearing from, I listen to Locked On. And when they do the NFL and they talk about the Packers, I perk my ears. Peter Bukowski is the rep for the Locked On for the Packers. And things are not all copacetic in the land of cheese. Things are starting to spoil. And I hope, that gets worse rather than better. But that's from a personal standpoint.
Personally, everything you said got me to mess it with glee there, Dave. Slightly.
There's a word I haven't heard in a while.
I like to dig into that source. I'm slightly engorged listening to you say Wisconsin is imploding.
It started last week with the Waste Management Bowl, as we called it. The Packers got whooped 30-10 by the Jets. It was not a good game whatsoever. And that's at Lambeau Field, no less. They were outgained 403 yards to 188. They only converted 2 of 12 third downs. It was Jordan Love struggled. He was 1 for 5 for only 7 yards. It was not a good performance by the Cheese Weasels whatsoever. And they fancy themselves contenders, Super Bowl contenders in the toughest division in all of football. Hey, they got to prove it.
They definitely do it. Dave Foster, new rule for the show. When we're shitting on the Packers, talk slower.
So that fans can understand.
I want not just so they can understand, but I want to enjoy it. I want to savor it.
Savor it, exactly.
It's they had. I know Wisconsin's north, so they probably don't practice voodoo like our brothers down here in the south. But they had to have sacrificed somebody for the way the Brewers are playing, and if it had to be the Packers, good job.
I wish the Twins would do something like that too.
And they're not selling their team, so
I know that came out, and Minnesota fans are upset. Right, the Pohlads have been bad owners.
It's a difficult time for teams to get sold in Major League Baseball right now. They got some stuff going on. And not to get too deep in the weeds, collective bargaining is going to cause a problem down the line. But that's a topic for another show. Foster, pick that up. On the other side of this break, we're going to get into the Bears week that was. If you're listening on audio, as you already know, we got some sponsors and some advertising partners that we would love to hear from you from, so Dave can get some beer and Foster can get some more playoff tickets to see his Tigers. Me, on the other hand, I got bills. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Need a Garrett's popcorn break.
So for the Bears, we also had a joint practice with those Miami Dolphins last week, and we took it to them. So that's why when I told you, Foster, I don't have any thoughts that you all don't get much out of this week. It's because I seen it up close and personal. Them guys suck. Mike McDaniels, fire Coach Walken. You heard it here first. It's probably not the first time you heard it, but I agree with that sentiment. We went into that game after the joint practice on Sunday, and most starters didn't play, just like your team, Dave. Most notably Caleb Williams. He did not start or play at any point in that game. It was mostly Tyson Badgett. Teabag if you're nasty.
The bag man.
Can you call the backup quarterback the bag man? Can you do that?
That's his nickname.
All right, we'll keep it. Let's see if it sticks. All right. So as far as everybody else on the team that did play, we had a lot of good performances from the defense. They showed a great level of energy and they played hard. It was, one of my co-hosts would say, is kind of reminiscent of how they played with Matt Eberflus, and not in a good way. They did some bending but not breaking. We want to see more domination. Well, it's like, Tiff. It's preseason. Relax. It's the backups. Just let them cook. We'll see what happens week one and as the games when they actually matter. But the guys that did jump off the page, the screen rather, showing my age there. We did see Austin Booker. Austin Booker on defense looked like a beast. He put on a show. He was getting back there in the backfield, making plays. I think he had 2 sacks, and he looked like somebody like if there was an opportunity for him to get some more playing time when the games do count, he could actually be a stud, somebody who make actual meaningful difference. Hippolyte looks good. Uh, Noah Sewell, he had a couple of big plays. If he can ever, and a lot of teams, a lot of teams aren't carrying a lot of linebackers nowadays. Base defenses are not what they used to be back in the olden days, the Stone Age, where you have 4-3-4, even 4-4s in Chicago, 3-4s. Pretty much base defense for most NFL teams now is nickel. So you only running out there maybe 2 linebackers at the most, and probably carrying only 4 to 5 on your team altogether. But to that point, Noah Sewell, he's going to have a tough time making the squad, just because for that 1 point of not carrying a lot of linebackers, and also there's some playmakers out there. So hopefully he can stay healthy and hopefully continue can do what he did, what he showed on Sunday. Like I said, he had a great stop in the first quarter, I believe, in the red zone after the Miami drove all the way down the field. He had a great stop on 4th down and force a turnover. Really good stuff by him. He had a couple of them. He was all over the field. It's a lot of energy on that defensive side of the ball. Also, Foster, your kicker is not the only kicker to kick a 57-yarder this past weekend. Cairo Santos, he's been working on his foot game on the offseason as well, switching up some of his technique so he can stop getting kicks blocked. Cairo, we don't want to talk about that none this season. Detroit Packers, the Green Bay Packers should have one less win in their back pocket because of that. So now that the word was out that your kicks were easy to block, I am happy that you stayed in the lab all off season and perfected this type of craft. If you're drilling 57 yarders, watch out. Watch out, because if the Bears can only move the ball 40 yards, we're still in the game, baby. We're still in the game. I like it. Speaking of the offense, as I already said, most of the offensive guys that did not play, but Luther Burden was out there. Second round draft pick for the Bears. He had a couple of catches, looked pretty good with the second stringers. Tyson Badger, he played all the first half. I'm sorry. It was kind of up and down. I know he's a fan favorite, as in most NFL cities, the backup quarterback is probably going to be one of the most popular players on the team, especially if you don't like QB1. And in Bears Nation, there's a schism with the quarterbacks. It's been a schism with quarterbacks ever since, I think, Eric Kramer. I think going that far back. I think the Bears Nation has been divided on quarterbacks since the 90s. That sucks. I don't think we had a quarterback where everybody was unified behind him. It's that type of time in Chicago. But in any case,
it's been a long time in Minnesota. JJ McCarthy has his haters too.
Well, has it been that long?
I think done anything yet.
Yeah, I don't know how you can hate on somebody who sat down all last season, but
hey, it's I believe it's today's society, but it all started with Kirk Cousins. That's the quarterback that polarized our fan base so badly, and it stuck. But there's history of it before. Even with Dante Culpepper, there was a whole segment of the fan base that no. And unfortunately, it has to do with stupid shit.
Now I know social media wasn't what it is now, but I will be hard pressed to believe that people were out on Culpepper. Before he got hurt, though. Before he got hurt.
Right.
Yeah,
I can't believe that to be true.
There's underlying societal issues.
Say less.
Right.
I get it.
That are absolute bullshit.
You're telling me. So
It's a sore subject with me. Pay.
Speaking of societal issues, Tyson Badgett is very popular in Chicago.
Yes,
Look, he played he played all of the first half. It was pretty much up and down. I didn't think he played well at all. Any conversation about there being a quarterback controversy or him looking better than QB1 Caleb, shut that down. In fact, I'm going to even go further than that. If you believe that after what you saw on Sunday that there's an actual quarterback competition, you are
Caleb Williams
You're
is
full
the
of
guy.
shit.
easily.
I didn't mean to talk over her. Sorry.
No, you're good. We can play around with that. So, Case Keenum, the longtime veteran of the NFL, he is battling for that quarterback 2 spot with Mr. Badgett. He's brought in. We thought that he was brought in just to be the veteran voice in the locker room, because you didn't want a locker room where Tyson Badgett was the senior guy, right? That didn't make any sense. So we all expected he was just there just to be a voice. But if you just taking Sunday at face value, he looked like he should be the quarterback too. He played great. Granted, he is a 20-year veteran or something like that. And he was playing against third stringers. Yes, we get it. But compared to what we've already seen from Tyson Badgett, compared to what we already know about Tyson Badgett, I cannot make a strong argument for why he should be higher on the depth chart than Mr. Keenum. Keenum can still play. I feel more confident that he can play with the quarterback 1 playbook than Tyson Badgett. In fact, scratch that. I know Tyson Badgett can't play the quarterback 1 playbook. He has to have his own playbook, and that's not to denigrate him. He just has his own physical limitations that I do not believe that Case Keenum has. I think Case Keenum is closer to Caleb than the other way around. But to that point, it is what it is. Other bullet points. There was the left tackle. There's the continued left tackle battle going on with Chicago Bears. Ozzie Trapello, Braxton Jones. Braxton Jones got the start. He played the first couple of series with Tyson Badgett out there. He didn't look terrible for the most part. We all know his limitations as well. Susceptible to the bull rush. He's not a very good mirror. And there was some times in that game in which he did get moved around just because he, doesn't move his feet very well. And I do want to put it out there that he is coming back from an ankle injury. He did have ankle surgery over the offseason, which will make him look a little slower. And to this point in this game, Ozzie Trapello, he looked great, other than, let's say, 3 bad plays, which I don't believe they were necessarily super bad. I think he just got beat on a couple of plays. They didn't lead to any sacks or anything like that. He had 1 bad run block, in my opinion, and which is not bad at all, which is crazy good for somebody as big as him. I think he's 6'9". He's a crazy, freakishly huge human, and he's a really good run blocker. And he had maybe 1 bad run block that I noticed. Everything else, he was really just he was a wall to get around. He got out to his spot and he walled people off. Excellent. The only time he got beat on pass pro was an actual touchdown pass from Tyson Badgett. The guy got around him, but it didn't alter the throw or anything like that. And like I said, Tyson was still made the throw to score the touchdown. So it's ongoing. I don't think anybody won the job Sunday or lost the job Sunday. Braxton, he's a 4-year starter. He is going to get every chance that he necessarily needs to win this job. And there will be, and Ozzie Trapello, he's a second round draft pick. That is a lot of capital to put in to a player. He is going to get every opportunity to win this job as well, especially he is a pick for the new head coach. Obviously, that's one of his guys. He's going to want to put him out there too. So We shall see. It's ongoing. The last player I do want to talk about, Kyle Monangai. Kyle Monangai, 7th round draft pick from the Big Ten. He actually led the Big Ten in rushing. I think I brought that up last week or the week before that. He's impressive. Um, there were rumors that maybe the Bears would be interested in bringing in Jamal Williams. He's a former Detroit Lion. I think he led the league in touchdowns not too long ago.
More than beat Barry's record.
Yeah, I I want to be out on that conversation whatsoever. I'm out. Jamal Williams, salute to you, brother. I hope you find work somewhere, but just not in Chicago. I like the way Cal Monanga is running. For somebody drafted in the 7th round, I think there's a place in this offense for him. I think he could carve out a good chunk of plays. In fact, I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked if we break camp and the depth chart that is released prior to week 1, we have a 7th round draft pick at running back 2. In fact, I would go a step further. It would not shock me if we break camp and we are having a running back committee with DeAndre Swift and a 7th round draft pick, Kyle Monangai. That would not shock me whatsoever. I don't think DeAndre Swift's having a bad camp. I think he's having a good camp. I don't think there's any reason to believe that DeAndre Swift is losing the job. I just think this kid is impressing that much that he is going to force his way onto the field.
Good. I can't wait to watch him.
Oh yeah, he's just got that. He's just a football player, Dave. I don't know how to explain it. He didn't run well in the draft. I mean, in the camp. He didn't run well at the combine. He was pretty slow. And I think that aided to the reason why he ended up all the way in the back of the draft. But when he put those pads on, you can't tell. He just got good football speed, and
Hey, good. Sort of like Xavier Scott did for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what round as long as they're good. Heck, we've had UDFA start. Ivan Pace came in as a UDFA, and he's a starting middle linebacker.
Right. There's a name. For this week, the Bears do have the Buffalo Bills on this schedule. They will play, I believe the game is at 7 p.m. this week. I think that's on a Sunday as well. So, and they're also going to do a joint practice with those same Bills this week. I believe the practice is on, let me see, I believe the practice is Friday, is just like last week. So that's a good thing. And good news for all those Caleb haters who had an opinion that he should be playing week 1. And I will tell you again, it made no difference that Caleb Williams is not playing in the preseason week 1. 1, it's first preseason game. 2, they're the Miami Dolphins. I don't think Miami Dolphins is going to be good. What kind of a good, useful reps did you get out of playing against a non-good team? You just practiced against them 2 days ago. You got enough reps. And to that also, Ben Johnson has said all offseason, it's about reps. Reps. Callous. The most overused word this offseason. Caleb Williams got an 80 play practice prior to the game. So he got more reps in practice on Sunday than anybody that played in the game. So let's just dead that noise. But back to the point. Speaking of the Bears joint practice and preseason game 2, Ben Johnson did come out about 4 hours ago and say that the starters will play Sunday night's preseason game against the Buffalo Bills at Soldier Field, including Caleb Williams. Quote, last week and all through camp, we've been consistent with the thought of reps. Reps being the most important thing to get everyone, including Williams, up to speed. A week ago before the Dolphins game, we got him those 100 reps prior to the game that I just spoke about. This week is on a different schedule, different time length of the game in terms of different time length of the time in terms of in between games. Our plan right now is to keep those guys who set out last week, and they will be playing this week. I'm assuming what he means is that because the game is at 7 versus at noon, that they have more time to get the guys up to speed for the game. Perfect. The Bills are a better team. We all agree than that, right? Better team than the Miami Dolphins. No one disagrees.
And probably a better team than the Chicago Bears, too.
Oh, I have 1,000% agree. Until otherwise proven, they are a better team than the Bears. There you go, Dave. It makes more sense that you want to get your reps in against the best type of opponent than it would be against some team that's going to be imploding it in about 1 month, or maybe even getting arrested. But that's how I like to
Now,
see it.
for your game, just so everybody knows, it is the national broadcast on Sunday night, hosted by Fox.
Oof. How do you like, before you go too far, Dave, before you go to your question, football game on Fox. We're back, Dave. We're back.
It's the right broadcaster. Yes, we're used to that. But to have it on Sunday night, I would have suspected NBC. But hey, way to go, Fox.
Let's do it. We are so back. I might not be a fan of summer ending and we got fall and all the leaves falling and you got to start layering up. But when you tell me there's a game Sunday night on Fox, I feel like I'm back home. All right. Foster, where can everybody catch out those Detroit Tigers and all of your opines of what's going on with Detroit sports? Where can we get that at?
On the visual side of things, you can catch us at Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. And if you're looking for the lines, Bleachers to Speakers as well on all audio aggregators. You can just Google us, we'll pop up. Corner to Copa for baseball and post-game podcast for Detroit Pistons.
That's what I'd like to hear. Dave, same thing for you. Minnesota Vikings, they 1-0. Minnesota Vikings, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut that out there. The 1-0 Minnesota Vikings. You all do a lot of great things over there at what's the name of the channel?
The channel is Vikings First and Skull. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on your favorite podcast aggregator. You can find it over at Fans First Sports Network. And if you notice, the written pieces now go on the Pro Football Insider, which is a division of Fans First Sports Network. Why the move? Because they're putting all the football stuff in one spot. And I think it's great. So if you're looking to find us, just type in Vikings First and Skull, and we'll pop up talking Vikings every day of the year, one way or another.
I know. I remember we had to force content in off season. You're gonna find a way to talk about Vikings. I said I quit. I'm gonna talk about baseball. I can't do it. Well, I don't want to talk about baseball much anymore because my baseball team is embarrassing me right now. But it could be worse. It could be worse. It could be I could be a fan of the White Sox.
But at least they have the Pope.
No, only for so much longer, Dave. The Pope is,
and then the Bears. He moves over to the Bears. Yeah,
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. We need all those blessings at Soldier Field. Get off 35th Street.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say three things. Bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.